Industrial systems did not need creativity. They did not need happiness. They did not need meaning. They needed reliability. Factories didn't fail because people worked too little. They failed when people acted differently. Machines needed humans to arrive on time, move the same way, repeat the same actions, and stop only when allowed. This wasn't a cultural preference, it was a technical requirement. Once production scaled up, human variation became a problem. So systems adapted. They didn't change machines, they changed people. Industrial systems slowly reshaped what humans were expected to be. Not thinkers, not decision makers, but predictable components inside a much larger machine. Before industrial systems, human variation was not a flaw. It was expected. People worked differently, at different speeds, with different rhythms. Some were fast starters. Some slowed down over time. Some worked best alone. Others needed coordination. This flexibility was not inefficient in small systems. It was adaptive. But scale changed everything. Once production expanded beyond small groups, variation stopped being manageable. Factories relied on sequences. One task fed into the next. One delay affected the entire chain. A single person working differently could disrupt dozens of others. From the system's perspective, this was not individuality. It was risk. Machines could not adjust themselves to human inconsistency. They did not understand moods. They did not slow down for hesitation. They did not recover from improvisation. They required regular input at regular intervals. So the problem was defined clearly. Human variation reduced predictability. Predictability reduced efficiency. Reduced efficiency threatened output. In other words, people became the unstable element inside an otherwise stable system. Industrial systems did not solve this by making machines more flexible. That would have reduced scale. Instead, they worked on the variable element. They worked on people. Once systems identified variation as the problem, they did not eliminate people. They selected for traits, not intelligence, not creativity, not moral judgment. They selected for reliability. The most valuable worker was not the most skilled one. It was the most predictable one. Someone who arrived on time every day. Someone who repeated tasks without deviation. Someone who followed instructions without reinterpretation. These traits were not accidental preferences. They were structural necessities. Predictable behavior allowed planning. Planning allowed scaling. Scaling allowed profit. Over time, systems began to reward these traits consistently. Promotions favored compliance. Stability favored obedience. Longevity favored endurance. Workers learned quickly what the system valued. Not ideas, not improvement, not insight, but consistency. This created a feedback loop. People who fit the system advanced. People who questioned it stagnated. People who resisted it exited. Eventually, the system appeared to select a certain type of person, not because others disappeared, but because they were filtered out. Industrial systems did not need to suppress creativity. They simply made it irrelevant. If creativity slowed the process, it became a liability. If judgment introduced uncertainty, it became risk. The safest human was the one who behaved like a machine. Over time, this expectation became normal. People stopped asking what they were capable of. They focused on what was required. Factories did not operate alone. Their logic spread. Schools adopted fixed schedules. Military organizations formalized hierarchy. Offices standardized procedures. Each institution reinforced the same pattern. Arrive on time. Follow instructions. Do not improvise unless authorized. This was not coincidence. Industrial systems required trained humans. Training could not begin at the factory gate. It had to start earlier. Schools became preparation spaces. They did not just teach knowledge, they taught compliance with structure. Sit still. Listen when told. Stop when the bell rings. Understanding mattered less than adherence. This prepared children for industrial adulthood. By the time people entered factories or offices, the expectations felt natural. The system did not feel imposed. It felt normal. Institutions also reinforced hierarchy. Decisions flowed downward. Execution flowed upward. This separation reduced friction. People did not need to understand the whole system. They only needed to understand their role. This reduced cognitive load and reduced resistance. When systems are complex, compliance is easier than comprehension. Over time, this structure reshaped how people saw themselves, not as autonomous agents, but as functional roles. Industrial systems did not ban human qualities. They simply stopped rewarding them. Curiosity did not disappear. It just had no place. Judgment was not forbidden. It was unnecessary. Autonomy was not illegal. It was impractical. These traits were not destroyed. They were displaced. People learned where they were acceptable and where they were not. Creativity belonged to hobbies. Judgment belonged to personal life. Autonomy belonged to weekends. Work belonged to the system. This separation created a subtle tension. People were still human, but they could not be fully human where they spent most of their time. This led to internal conflict. People blamed themselves for feeling constrained. They assumed the problem was personal. Lack of motivation, lack of discipline, lack of ambition. But the issue was structural. Industrial systems did not need complete humans. They needed reliable ones. The loss was quiet, gradual, normalized. Nothing was taken away explicitly, but over time, less was allowed to matter. Industrial systems were not designed to harm people. They were designed to produce at scale. But scale has requirements. It demands predictability. It reduces tolerance for variation. It rewards consistency over judgment. To meet those demands, systems reshaped expectations. They did not change machines to fit humans. They changed humans to fit machines. This transformation did not require force. It required incentives. Over time, people adapted, not because they were weak, but because adaptation ensured survival. Understanding this does not mean rejecting modern systems. It means seeing them clearly. Systems optimize for output. People optimize for meaning. When those goals diverge, tension is inevitable. The question is not whether industrial systems changed people. They did. The question is how much of that change we still accept without noticing.